So let's get straight to the point. If you clicked on this video, you know what the Model 3 is. It's a great car and it's been the best selling car on the EV market for many years now. And it's been that for good reason. However, it's had a couple of problems, and one of these is its old age, being a car from 2017 that hasn't changed much over the last 6 years. It's definitely gonna age and people are gonna get bored. Number two, there are some problems with the quality of the car, especially for the price in Canada, which is like $50,000. You don't get premium materials, it's pretty much cheap plastic. A lot of moving parts, a lot of panel gaps, not great drive quality, not a lot of comfort, a lot of wind noise. I mentioned all of these problems in my previous video about the Rivian R1T. Make sure to check that video after you check out this. But all in all, there isn't a lot of great quality in that car. Now, a couple of days ago, Tesla launched their new redesigned Model 3 in Europe and China. And this is expected to come soon to North America too. And it does change a lot of the factors that I've mentioned, especially with the quality of the car. And I think overall, it actually makes the Model 3 a great package and at a similar price. So first, let's go straight to the most obvious changes. The car has had a remake on the front and the back. So they have new headlights and they're more sleek, they're more slim, and they overall look more modern. It's a great change and I think everybody is gonna like this change. Now moving down from the headlights, the nose of the car is extended to be more wider and more sharper, which gives it a more modern and sleek look once again. And this is great because it does upgrade the car to a more modern and refined look. Now below that, the fog lights are gone, which is going to be another big change on the front end. And I have mixed thoughts on this. Like, obviously it is Tesla cutting their costs, but at the same time, how many people really use those fog lights? Because most people did buy the rear wheel model, and from what I know, the rear wheel model, the base model, did not even include like fog lights that actually turned on. They were just there for display. So I don't think this was something that most customers actually used. So I don't think this is going to affect most customers at all. But at the same time, I don't know, for the people that did want it, this is Tesla cutting costs and it is going to affect a couple of customers. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the front end. It's not a complete drastic change, but at the same time, it does change up stuff pretty significantly and you'll definitely notice the changes. Now, there are a couple of things that we aren't exactly sure about at the moment, and one of them is the camera that's supposed to be at the lower front bumper of the car. Now, when the car launched, there was a bunch of pictures with a camera on the lower front bumper of the car, and it was pretty close to the road. It could spot obstacles, I guess, but it has disappeared since in all of the promotional material. And we don't really know what's going to happen with that. Is it going to be there or did Tesla remove it? So we'll find out eventually. But anyways, let's move on to the back end of the car. Now here we have very similar changes. One of them being the tail lights, similar to the headlights. Now they went from this bulky design in 2017 to being a very thin, sleek and modern design. And they pretty much match the headlights, so that's great. It looks great. I don't think anybody is gonna criticize this once again. Now aside from that, the rest of the back is pretty small and subtle changes, but they still change up the car. One being the Tesla logo is gone. Now it's Tesla spelled out. In my opinion, this looks better. It looks more sleek once again. And also the lower bumper did get changed, so now it's black and it extends to the face of the backside. Once again, not a big change, but it is a change that is welcomed and better than what it was before. Now on the sides of the body itself, not huge changes. The doors look pretty much the same. The door handles are the exact same. I kind of wanted the door handles to change. Now personally, I'm not really the biggest fan of the design of the door handles. Obviously it's going to be subjective, but I personally don't think it's a great design. I like something like the Model S more. But anyways, putting that aside, there is another big change on the sides, and that's the wheels. The wheel designs have gotten significantly better, whether it be the base or the more expensive wheel. And Tesla does say that they optimize battery life. I'm not sure about the exact numbers of how much. Now another thing that they've changed that I found interesting was the design of the tire. Now this is a small thing that most people won't even think about, but they did change it because they wanted to prioritize comfort and efficiency over speed as they did earlier. So they did make a sacrifice in the wheels, so the car won't really go as fast as it could before. But most people don't really go fast. They just want to go on their commute from point A to point B and back. So that's usually their 9 to 5 work or to school school and back or all that stuff, nobody's really taking it on a track. So I think this makes perfect sense. It's gonna be a great, comfortable ride. But yeah, that's all the changes on the exterior of the car. Now let's go a bit under the car before going on the inside. Now we have an upgraded suspension. So this is once again gonna prioritize your comfort, efficiency, aerodynamics, and all of that. This is once again great because I mentioned a lot of these problems, whether it be with wind noise or comfort or all of that. And they do say that their suspension is going to change a lot of these issues. Now, this new suspension system does include new springs, dampers, new geometry on the front suspension, new bushings, new way they mount the subframe on the chassis. All of this just does give you a more premium ride. Now, along with this, we also get better aerodynamics on this car. Tesla says that the new Model 3 is the most aerodynamic Tesla ever, with a drag coefficient of 0.219. Now, thanks to the efficiency that Tesla did get from their aerodynamics and suspension, their range has improved about 12% from the previous models, which is once again always appreciated. Now, aside from that, another problem I mentioned was road noise and wind noise. Tesla says that they've installed acoustic glass on the back side of the car. So previously they only did the front side, so the front passenger and driver windows, but now they've also done the back seats and the back window on the back. Now, aside from this, they've also added more sound insulation than before, so this does give a more comfortable and quiet ride to the passengers. And once again, this is gonna be appreciated on top of the acoustic glass. Now, the official stats for all of this noise is 30% decrease in wind and ambient noise, 25% improvement in impact noise, and a 20% improvement in road noise. Now, this is going to be greatly appreciated, and as I said, this is a big problem. But yeah, now moving on from the outside to the inside, let's check out the interior. So the biggest change lands in two spots. One is the actual parts of the car, and the second is the design. Now, they say that 50% of the car's parts have been changed. So this includes more premium interior materials, and they say that the fabric is softer to the touch, and they made it with a more refined process to present a better overall texture. And this is great because in my experience, Tesla does have very cheap materials inside their cars, and it is a big reason why I personally don't like Teslas. But having premium materials could change a lot, such as in the center console where we do have more premium metals instead of plastic. And on the dashboard, we actually have a brand new design, and this also has a woven texture to it, so that's great. It's a great fabric and it looks great from the pictures. Now, aside from this, another big change that we actually got on the Model S and X first is that there's not going to be any more stalks behind the steering wheel. So this includes the gear shifter, your lane change, or your turn signals, or even your windshield wipers. None of that's going to be behind the steering wheel now. In fact, it's going to be on your screen or on the steering wheel, which I personally am not a big fan of, because I think you do need stocks such as gear selectors or lane change or all that other stuff. And I do know that people that don't have the stocks on their Model S and X aren't really a big fan of this either, and they do wish that they did have stocks, especially for, you know, horns or gear changing. It's not a great change on the car, and once again, I don't think a lot of people are going to be fans of this. Now, something that they've done different than the Model S and X is one that I think they do have a horn that's a proper horn instead of a button on the steering wheel, which is going to be appreciated because when you do almost get into an accident, your natural reaction is going to be to slam the horn, not to click a button. So I think that's going to be something that's going to be a great feature compared to the Model S. Now, another change is that the manual gear selector, which used to be close to the wireless charging pad, is now going to be on the ceiling of your car, which I don't know. I mean, like, it's going to be something that you're going to have to try before making any judgments. But yeah, anyways, moving behind the steering wheel, we get this new LED ambient light strip, which extends from the front of the car all the way to the back. This is going to be customizable, so any RGB color. And this isn't going to be something as great as Mercedes, which is completely different. It goes in a lot of different parts of the car, but at the same time, it does give more character to your car, and it's not as boring and minimalistic as the previous Model 3. Another big change is the new speaker system in the car. So we have 17 speakers, which is 3 more than the previous 14 speakers we had. And this includes 2 amplifiers and 2 subwoofers. Now, this also includes speakers in the top bars of the car. So this includes like close to the ceiling. And I think this is going to be a better sound system, and Tesla already did have a pretty good sound system going for it. So I don't think there's going to be too much to improve on. But at the same time, more improvements in sound are always appreciated. Now, something that I personally think is going to be great on this car is going to be the front ventilated seats. This is something that we have on the Lexus that I drive most of the time. And it's great in the summer, especially where I live in BC. It gets close to 40 degrees Celsius in summer. And I think that's going to be something that a lot of people are going to want here, because when I use a Lexus, it's a great feature. It's something that not enough people talk about, and I think a lot of customers are going to appreciate it on the new Model 3. There's also a latch at the bottom of each door, so if you do get into a crash, this is going to protect you from falling out of the car or getting into anything that's too serious. And this once again does reinforce Tesla's commitment to safety, because as much as I criticize Tesla, I do believe that they do have a dedication to safety, and they're one of the safest cars for any passenger to be in. Now, along with this, all seats are perforated and the rear seats are said to be comfortable. And speaking of the rear seats, we also get an 8-inch touchscreen on the bottom of the rear seats. I think kids are gonna love it, although I don't know how great it is for kids, because they're gonna be looking down at the angle and it's not gonna be great for your neck, especially if you're watching Netflix on that screen. It's not gonna be great, but anyways, on that screen you could watch any entertainment or change your climate controls. And once again, useful, but I don't know how useful. Now, speaking of climate control, there's an upgraded 2.0 ventilation system. They say that now you can turn off your passenger air system if you don't want there to be AC on that side. I think this is cool, great if your passenger doesn't want it, but at the same time, most cars had this before. I don't know why this is so late on Tesla. But yeah, aside from that, the rest of the features are pretty small changes. One, that you get 65-watt charging, so that's great for charging laptops or power banks or anything else with a big battery or fast charging. You also get an upgraded microphone system in your car, so they say that this is going to make your calls clearer and smoother, whatever that means. And they say this is going to be done through having a mic on each passenger. So that's great. I think once again, people are going to use this. It's going to be a subtle change, nothing too drastic. But yeah, aside from that, there's not anything else that's too drastic. There is improved Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and improved connectivity to your phone. So if you want to unlock your car from far away, once again, nothing too drastic, nothing that most people are going to notice. That's pretty much all for the new redesign and refreshed Model 3. I personally think that this is going to be a pretty big change, and I can't wait to see these on the street, and I can't wait to sit in one myself. But yeah, I'm curious about what you guys think. Do you really love this new refresh, or do you like the old model better? Or are you just not sold on Teslas at all despite this new refresh? I want to know what you guys think, so make sure to comment down below. And if you like this video, make sure to drop a like and make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more future videos.